Right guys, CK here and welcome to this video in which I'm going to be talking about 12 epic cars that need to be added to the Forza franchise. These are cars which we lust over for years and somehow they haven't found their way into Forza yet, so I am going to go through every single one from A to Z in alphabetical order. Let me know yours in the comment section below, and while you are down there guys, remember to leave a like and subscribe to the channel if you are brand new. But getting right into it and starting with the letter A, we have got the Abarth 124 Spider now. Obviously this thing is essentially a clone of the MX-5, it's got the same sort of underbelly to it and everything, but it has a different engine and it has a different body. In my personal opinion, I think it looks a lot more characterful and a lot more soulful than the MX-5. I'm not saying the MX-5 is a bad looking car, because it isn't. It's actually cleaner looking than this, but this one's a lot more fun looking and a bit more, hey look at me, I'm Italian, yeah look at me. But it's a fun little car, man. As I'm sure you've seen on the Grand Tour, Richard Hammond loved it, and for some reason Matt LeBlanc on Top Gear didn't like it, so yeah, I'm slightly mad at him for that. But yeah, that just comes with me being a Barth fan. So I know a few people have mentioned to me on Facebook and Twitter about this car and everything, do I want to see it in Forza? And the answer is a big obvious yes, because you just can't beat a small Italian roadster for fun. Seriously, I know you can get like mental amounts of power and like muscle cars and everything, but if you just care about driving and you just want to indulge the road ahead of you rather than ripping it up, then yeah, I would definitely recommend the 124 for that. So that would definitely suit the roads of Australia as well in Horizon 3. So sticking with the Italian theme from the Abarth, we have got two Alfa Romeos coming up. The first one is this. It is the Disco Volante, a very, very jaw-dropping looking car and a very unique looking car as well. Now, as I'm sure you've seen on Top Gear, Jeremy drove this and it is based on the underpinnings of an Alfa Romeo 8C, but it has just got the body to die for, man. Now, I know it's quite controversial in terms of looks. From some angles, some people might not like it, but I personally like it all the way around. There's so many things in there which it's inspired by, as Jeremy says. Like, there's a little bit of Corvette in there, a little bit of Aston Martin, etc, etc. It just looks so damn good. And of course, the noise. Oh my god. It is so demonic. A very, very deep grumble from the Maserati V8 in this thing. It's just an absolute pleasure to hear. So that would be an amazing backroads cruiser, especially like through the rainforest and stuff. But moving on to the next Alfa Romeo, which is, as I'm sure you guessed, the Giulia Quadrifoglio. The Quadrifoglio, the freaking tongue twister of a freaking car. But yeah, this thing just blew all of the reviewers away when they actually reviewed it on YouTube or in magazines and stuff. I'd probably say it's the new king of the hot saloons out there, the super saloons. One, it looks great, as an Alfa should. It sounds fantastic. And it has basically a Ferrari V6 in it, because it's essentially a California V8 with 2 cylinders knocked off, which is bonkers to think. So it's basically like a Ferrari saloon, so you could kind of say it kind of competes with the Maserati Quattroporte a little bit, but I'd go for the Alfa every time because it is dripping in cool factor. The interior looks great, and that's all I can say about Alfa Romeos, man. They're just great looking cars, great sounding cars, and this thing, I want to get it sideways so bad, I really do, but I've got a funny feeling this might be in the last pack for Horizon 3. So moving on to probably the most obvious one which is going to be on this list, the Bugatti Chiron. I mean, everyone that I've spoke to just adores this thing, man. Whether it's the looks, the freaking sensational interior in my opinion, because Bugatti, they just knock it out of the park every time. I'm not too sure if it's as good as Pagani in terms of like special factor, but it's certainly up there. But the highlight for me of this thing is not really the speed or anything like that, but the back end. It is just so menacing, so freaking menacing, with that big one light bar, man. So good. It's just essentially a better looking version of the Veyron with more power, and I ain't complaining because I wasn't exactly the biggest fan of the Veyron until the Grand Sport for test came out and like the SS and stuff, because I felt as if the Veyron was a bit bland looking, but this thing, it's straight out of the box, aggressive as fuck. It's very, very good looking, especially in the black and blue sort of colour combo. And that would add to the list of Horizon 3's hypercars right now, because we've got the Regera, we've got the 1-to-1, we've got the Centenario and stuff like that, we've got the P1, Porsche 918, the LaFerrari, so having the Chiron in there would just make it whole. So we're taking a little break from the sort of exotic material, and we're going to be going for yet another sort of coach build car, the Equus Base 770. Now this thing is inspired by muscle cars of old, now most noticeably an old Mustang, kind of like the fastback one from Bullet, but they put modern touches onto it, a brand new interior, and I'm pretty sure it's got a LS engine. I might be wrong, so please correct me in the comments, guys. As I say, I'm not really good with engine specifications. But yeah, cracking looking car. Probably my favourite modern-ish muscle car. I know it's going to sound weird saying modern because it's essentially looking like a classic car, but it was built, I think, only like 2014 or 2015 and stuff. It's just jaw-dropping, man. Seriously, the first time I seen it was on, I think it was on Top Gear's website, and I seen it in an episode of Top Gear USA as well. But yeah, if you like kind of like retro mod style, this is probably the king of it. Definitely, it's one of the kings of the retro mod scene. I really like it. It's kind of hard to find in games. I don't think I've seen it in any game, but yeah, again, correct me if I'm wrong. And it'd be good to drive it around in Forza because it just oozes cool factor. And apparently it actually handles, because as I mentioned, I've seen it on Top Gear USA, and Tanner Faust got to drive it, and he said that it handles pretty damn well, so that's quite interesting. Let's just see what they do if they do bring it into Forza. Does it handle like a proper sports car, or does it just handle like a big boat? Now, long-time viewers of me will definitely know me as a Jag man. I love my Jags, and this is probably one of the highest requests that I've actually had for a Forza game for a while now, along with the Eco Speedster and stuff, to come back. It is the Jaguar CX-75. Now, it kind of crushed my soul that Jaguar says that they aren't going to make this thing, they aren't going to put it into production, but what a freaking prototype, man. What a freaking concept. It's essentially a modern day XJ220, but with, I think the actual concept is like a jet engine in it, which was mental, absolutely mental, so you could run it on basically anything you want, which is bonkers. But the sort of pre-production sort of prototype, before it didn't go into production, had I can't remember what engine it actually had, but it might have been the exact same thing as the first concept, but I don't think it was. But yeah, probably the most jaw-dropping supercar or hypercar that I have seen in a very, very long time. I love curves on cars, right? I really do love curves on cars. I do prefer like them being quite circular. Don't get me wrong, I like angular cars and everything, and big bulky muscle cars and stuff, but there's just something about like a good body in a car with all the curves and everything. That's why I like the Eco Speedster so much. So yeah, and that's why I like the F-Type so much. But man, this thing, it's just oozing sex appeal, man. It's oozing sex appeal, especially in the orange and the blues, because if you haven't seen Spectre yet, the James Bond movie, it does make a brief appearance as the villain's car, because as we all know, all villains drive a Jag. So they got that bang on right there. You got it absolutely bang on. So yeah, speaking of James Bond, I haven't actually got this on the list, but can we also see the DB10 come in? That'd be great. I never thought of that. So next up is a car company that you might not have heard of, but they are pretty damn big in F1. They've been in a few games like Need for Speed Most Wanted 2012, and they've been in stuff like Asphalt, Airborne and stuff like that. It is Marussia, and this is the B2, and possibly the coolest picture that I have got here, because that chopper and the car goes hand in hand. It looks really cool. But yeah, the Marussia, it's a kind of weird looking supercar. It's very angular, but I wouldn't call it pretty. It has that Gumpert thing, if you know what I mean. It's definitely not pretty, but it's striking. That's probably the word that I would actually use. It's not handsome either, it's striking. As I said, Mercer are an F1 team, and if any of the technology that actually presented the F1 cars has trickled into this thing, then yeah, count me in for it, man. Count me in. I think there already is like a new version of the B2 out, so yeah, just bring in any of them. So that's like a new manufacturer that they've in Forza as well, because I like when Forza do that. It's happening with the Zenvo ST1. That should be out tomorrow with the Hot Wheels car pack. Very excited about that. So I'll be driving that soon, but it's great to see all these little car manufacturers and everything getting some recognition. And I think Marussia deserves it. I think they do. So now on to probably the most requested car on the Forza forums, because people have been getting pretty mad that this car isn't in the game already, or in the Forza franchise. It is the McLaren 675LT. They've got to bring it in, because I don't think they're going to make people wait much longer, because I think they're saving it to the last pack, just like the Giulia Quadrifoglio for Horizon 3, or they're going to bring it in Forza 7. It would kind of make more sense to bring it in Forza 7 because it's more of a track-based car, but at the same time, I'd love to see it on the road in Horizon 3. Definitely one of my favourite supercars out there right now. The new McLaren 720S isn't on this list because, as I said, it's just brand new. It's not fully went into production yet, so these are cars which are actually been out for a few years, or out for a couple of years and that. So yeah, hence the reason why the LT is on here. But it's a cracking looking thing, especially in that sort of acid green colour which I showed you in that picture. The back end on this, man, is so good looking, so freaking good. Big centre exhaust pipes mounted on the actual bumper itself, and the big air brake or big rear wing. It's freaking menacing, man. It's insane. Like every video that I've watched on this, like Chris Harris and the Smoking Tire and that, I've been saying, like, how can this thing be road legal? It's such a menace when it comes to like attacking your senses, and I have to agree with them. Moving on to one of the coolest cars to grace the roads of this planet, the Mercedes G63 AMG 6x6. Now we all know how capable this thing is going off-road, so it'd be amazing to go through the dunes with this thing in Australia in Horizon 3, but it'd be kind of out of place on a racetrack in Forza 7, but yet again, that's the good thing about Forza. They bring in wacky and mental cars, and I'd love to do a G63 AMG 6x6 race, like around Silverstone or around Spa or something. That'd be mental, but obviously Horizon 3 would be the better place for it. And the fact that it's still a G-Wagon on the inside, it's cocooned in luxury. You've got freaking your air conditioning, you've got your stereo and everything like that, but it's just the coolest package ever, man. Seriously, I mean, 6 wheels? What is cooler than that? And I know someone's going to say, oh, 8 wheels or something like that, but yeah, I mean, I think 8 wheels on the car's kind of taking it a little bit too far, but 6 is just right. So good, so freaking good, but I don't know what will happen, because they have done more than 6 wheels on a car before. I should say truck actually, because it was that big racing lorry, so we do know that they can bring in 6 wheels or more on a vehicle in Forza, so why haven't they done it with this yet? I don't know. Bring it in, turn 10. We're all waiting for it, and we all have been waiting for it for years. So since Porsche is actually in Forza now, guys, I was kind of surprised that they didn't add the 911R in, so I've just got a wee request here right now. I would love to see that thing come in. I know it's essentially just like a GT3, like a 991 GT3, just with a manual gearbox and everything. And yes, I do know there's a new GT3 on the way, which is currently getting lapped right now and stuff, with a manual. But this one, it's just kind of more of a desirable car. It's a lot more sort of stripped out, a lot more raw, and just gets back to basics of driving. Manual car with good looks, great power, and just lets you enjoy the road, man, and just lets you tear it up. So yeah, that's why I was a little bit sad to see that the 911R didn't come in, because as you all know, I'm a big fan of Salamandrin, and I was going to recreate his car in Forza, but you never know, it might come in. Now this is one that I am genuinely surprised that they haven't brought in yet. It is the Rimac Concept 1. I believe it's how you pronounce it, as Rimac, because I know everyone calls it Rimac, but the guy himself in a couple of Salamandrian videos says it is Rimac. So I actually really like this car. It's in Drive Club, and this thing can beat about almost anything in the planet. It's an electric hypercar with, I believe, about 1500 horsepower. So you're talking Bugatti Chiron levels, Koenigsegg Regera levels. So yeah, it's definitely got a lot of torque, a lot of power, and it will just basically munch anything on this planet, because it beats the 918, beats the P1, and it also beats the LaFerrari. So oh man, that'd be mental to see this thing come into Forza, man, because I think it'd be kind of a bit of a cheater's car, because everyone would just use it if you go into like online races and stuff. Because it has all-wheel drive, I believe. I think it has all-wheel drive. It will just dominate anything, seriously. I mean, Teslas will be shitting themselves, seriously, because we all know the story with Teslas, like, oh, they are freaking mental off the line, but this thing, it's like it freaking time warps, man. So last but certainly not least is the Xenos E10S. Now you may recognise this from the Grand Tour, the one that James May was driving around Morocco. It's a fantastic looking little car. I mean, this and the BAC Mono are two of my favourite little track day cars, along with like the Ariel Atom and stuff like that. But this one I think is one of the better looking ones alongside the BAC Mono, because this has like a proper body and everything. Because unlike the Ariel Atom, which basically is stripped out to the core, you see through stuff and everything, it's basically the same with the BAC Mono. You've got like one seat, centre position and everything. This is just like a little normal car, man. It's freaking awesome looking, especially with like the two-tone or even three-tone in the pictures case that I just showed you, like body panels and stuff. So it looks epic, it looks really cool, and I believe it actually has an engine out of the Ford Focus ST, so it's a quite good peppy little motor, man, and I like the ST. It's a good wee hatchback, although I do prefer the RS. So yeah, be a nice little addition to the track day cars. We've not got much out there. We've got the Caterham R500, BAC Mono, Ariel Atom, Yana, stuff like that. But yeah, I would probably say this thing would slip in there alongside like the KTM Expo and stuff like that. Not the most powerful thing ever, but still a lot of fun, and that's what these wee track day cars are designed to be. So anyway guys, I'm going to round that up there. That was my top 12 epic cars that we need added to Forza. So yeah, let me know yours in the comment section below. While you are down there, a like always does help out, and subscribe to the channel if you are brand new, and if you could share it around as well, that would be lovely. And if you have any other suggestions of like a top 10 or top 12 or anything like that, then please do let us know as well, because I kind of want to do more of these. I actually really enjoyed making this. So yep, thanks for watching, take it easy, and I'll see you in my next video.